welcome back to the deep dive. All right, so we've got a fascinating topic today, looking at that jump from, well, being really good at English to actually living inside the language.
That's right. It's that final frontier, moving past C1 level mastery. We've got some really solid sources here that offer a structured way to think about this.
And actionable strategies, too, which is key. So our mission in this deep dive is to give you that framework.
Exactly. And maybe we should start by just acknowledging the achievement, right? If you're at C1, you've climbed a huge mountain, complex grammar, debating ideas. You've done the work.
Totally. You understand the subjunctive, you can navigate phrasal verbs. But the sources all seem to hit on this lingering feeling. You're precise, maybe, but not always quick on your feet.
Yeah, that little translation hiccup, that tiny delay that stops the quick joke or expressing exactly how you feel right in the moment. It makes you feel a bit like you're watching the conversation instead of being fully in it.
That's the core idea, isn't it? The difference between just using English, for a transaction, ordering coffee, passing an exam, and actually inhabiting it.
Inhabiting it is experiential. It's dreaming in English, it's feeling things, and having the words come out without that filter. It's making it your mental home.
And that's what we're aiming for. The blueprint for building that home inside the language.
Research gave us these sort of 3 lenses or personas, which we found really helpful.
Yeah, the architect, the actor, and the explorer each tackles a different dimension of this.
So let's start with the architect. This is about designing your environment, right? Making English unavoidable.
Exactly. It's about conscious architecture. You're setting up your world so English absorption, that kind of osmosis, just happens passively and actively.
Okay, so the digital world first. What's the big, immediate step the sources point to?
It sounds almost too simple, but it's powerful. Switch your phone, your laptop, all your main devices to English. Now.
Ooh, okay. I could see people hesitating there. Isn't that just annoying at first? Fumbling for settings. Well, yes. And that's kind of the point. That initial friction, that slight annoyance, is actually the mechanism. It forces your brain to link the function, changing the display, checking notifications directly with the English word.
Ah, I see. So you stop thinking the word in your native language first and then looking for the English equivalent. You just go straight to settings.
Precisely. It starts building those direct pathways, bypassing that translation step we talked about.
Makes sense. Okay, beyond the OS, what about media? How do you make sure you're not just reading, say, dry news articles?
You've got to curate by passion. Forget just general news unless you love it. Follow your real interests, baking, vintage cars, urban gardening, whatever it is, but follow the English-speaking communities and creators.
Right, so the algorithm starts feeding you content you genuinely want to understand?
Exactly, and it's authentic stuff, full of jargon, slang, the way people actually talk about that topic. Your motivation flips. It's not practice English, it's I need to know how they did that.
The learning becomes almost invisible because the passion takes over.
Yes, and the next level up from that is finding your digital tribe. Joining a Discord for a game you play, or a subreddit for a book series you love.
So you're not just consuming, you're interacting.
Right. And when you're in a voice chat debating strategy or typing furiously about a plot twist, English is just the tool you're using to share that passion. It stops being the focus itself. That's a huge mental shift.
Okay, digital world covered. What about the physical space? How does the architect make English tangible?
There's this great idea. Relabel your reality. Simple sticky notes. Label, say, 20 or 30 things you use every single day.
Like mirror, faucet, kettle.
Exactly. Spice rack, light switch. Every time you see it, every time you use it, it's a tiny reinforcement of the English word. Dozens of micro-associations daily without even trying.
Bypassing translation again. And for practical stuff.
All lists in English. Shopping lists, to-do lists, no exceptions.
Okay. So you have to know the English word for courgette or laundry detergent if you want to buy it.
You got it. It forces that everyday practical vocabulary that you often miss in formal study. Super effective.
One more thing from the architect section, this idea of weak ties for practice. What's that about?
It's about low-stakes practice. Sometimes a full conversation feels like too much pressure. So, find a place where brief English interactions are normal, like a coffee shop in a tourist area.
And just order your coffee in English every time.
Yeah. Make it a habit. It exposes you to different accents, different ways of speaking, with zero expectation of a long chat. Builds confidence in small bursts.
Or online, too, maybe. like leaving comments.
Definitely. Short, thoughtful comments on YouTube, maybe brief product reviews. They're acts of participation, using English in the wild, but without that face-to-face pressure.
Okay, so that's the architect laying the external groundwork. Now we move inside to the actor, mastering the internal world.
Right. And this is where we really tackle that translation buffer head on, because that's the biggest block to sounding and feeling truly fluent.
That three-step process you mentioned. Hear English, translate, think response, yet translate back. It's exhausting just describing it.
It is. So the actor needs techniques to break that chain, to force a direct link between the thought, the concept, and the English expression.
And the main technique the sources highlighted was the monologue method.
Yes, this came up again and again. Basically, narrating your life to yourself.
Internally or out loud?
Either. Describing what you're doing as you make breakfast, thinking through your commute while you're stuck in traffic, but doing it in English.
Okay, I had to ask, doesn't that feel incredibly weird and artificial at first, like you're performing for no one?
Oh, absolutely. The sources are clear. It feels awkward initially, but the key is doing it consistently. You're deliberately forging that real-time connection between your immediate experience and English words.
So you're training your brain to just think in English about what's happening right now.
Exactly. It bypasses your native language entirely. Over time, it becomes less of a conscious exercise and more of a background process.
Yeah.
Mental agility training.
Like building a muscle. And speaking of staying in English, the research was pretty strong on ditching bilingual dictionaries at this stage.
Yes, very strong. It feels counterintuitive. You find a new word, you want the quick translation. But resist. Use an English to English learner's dictionary instead.
Define the English word using simpler English words.
Right. So you look up elated and it says very happy and excited. You're staying within the English web of meaning, reinforcing connections you already have, not jumping out to translate. It keeps you in the ecosystem.
Defining concepts, not just swapping labels, which links to the next idea, concept-first thinking.
Yeah. Instead of painstakingly building a sentence in your native language and then trying to find the perfect English equivalent for each word, visualize the core idea first.
Like a mental image.
Or a mind map.
Exactly. Get the concept clear in your head, then use the English you know to describe that concept. You're less likely to fall into grammatical traps that come from direct word-for-word translation. Okay, this is crucial. Now, the actor also has to deal with something really personal. Personality. That feeling advanced learners get where their humor, their sarcasm, it just falls flat in English.
It's a common frustration. You feel like a less interesting, less funny version of yourself.
So how do you find your authentic English voice?
You need role models, but not just for accent. Find native speakers you admire, comedians, writers, scientists, whoever, and really study them.
Study what specifically?
Their word choices, how they structure sentences, how they express excitement or disagree politely or tell a story. Pay attention to the mechanics of how they convey their personality through language.
So you're not mimicking them, but learning their techniques for expressing nuance.
Precisely. And there's a psychological piece too. Embrace the new you. The sources suggest recognizing that you might actually have a slightly different persona in English. Maybe you're more direct or more analytical.
See it as an expansion, not a loss.
Exactly. An added dimension to who you are.
And the final, maybe toughest part of the actor's job, emotional fluency.
This is where it gets deep. Moving beyond just happy, sad, angry. You need to explore the nuances. What's the difference between feeling content versus elated? Or annoyed versus furious?
How do you practice that?
Journaling is great for this. Try writing about specific emotional states in English, or consciously study how emotions are expressed in films or books.
And then daring to use it.
That's the final step. Daring to be a bit vulnerable. Finding a safe space, maybe a trusted friend, a language exchange partner, and trying to talk about real feelings. Stress, hopes, frustrations.
Even if it's awkward and halting at first.
Especially then, that's where the language stops being just words in your head and becomes part of your lived, felt experience. It moves into your heart.
Wow. Okay, so the house is built by the architect, the actor has furnished the mind, now the explorer steps out into the culture.
Right, because language doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's embedded in culture. Humor, values, history, social rules. To truly inhabit English, you have to navigate that cultural landscape.
Going beyond just watching movies or listening to music, how do you really get the subtext?
Again, start with your passions. Make a list. Top 5 hobbies or interests. Woodworking, historical fashion, competitive chess, whatever. Then find the English language epicenter for each.
What do you mean by epicenter?
The place where the most dedicated expert discussion is happening.
Hmm.
So if you love history, don't just read Wikipedia. Listen to something like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast.
Because the language will be rich, nuanced, and totally focused on something you care intensely about.
Exactly. The learning becomes invisible again because your interest pulls you through the complex language. You need the vocabulary to follow the story.
Okay, makes sense. But what about decoding the stuff that's not explicit?
Yeah.
The cultural codes.
That's crucial. You need to become a student of things like humor and politeness, analyze different comedy styles. British irony and self-deprecation work very differently from American observational humor.
You need to know the rules of the game.
Precisely. And politeness codes are huge, especially in directness in British English. Knowing that, with all due respect, often signals profound disagreement in a professional setting.
You take that literally, you miss the entire point.
You do. Or even simple things like knowing the ritual of how are you in the U.S. often doesn't expect a detailed medical history. It's a greeting. Understanding these scripts makes interactions smoother.
So how do you make this vast culture feel personal, like it belongs to you?
The sources suggest creating your own cultural library, personal anchor points.
Like what?
Find your song, one whose lyrics you learn by heart, that resonates with you. Choose your film. Watch it multiple times, maybe with the director's commentary. Read your book, a novel that becomes like a friend.
So these aren't just random cultural items. They become part of your identity within the English-speaking world.
Exactly. They furnish your internal room with meaningful cultural touchstones.
Let's make this really concrete. The source had some great case studies, voices from the global village, showing these principles in action.
Yeah, they were really illustrative. Take Javier, a graphic designer from Spain working in Dublin. Brilliant technical English for work, but pub conversations, small talk, he felt completely lost.
That fast-paced Irish banter.
Totally. His breakthrough, he used the weak ties principle, he joined a hiking club.
Okay, how did hiking help with pub talk?
The pace was slower, shared experience, less pressure. Out on the mountainside, he started picking up the colloquialisms, the self-deprecating humor naturally. It wasn't practice, it was just chatting while walking. That confidence then carried back to the pub and the office.
Nice. Okay, who else?
Yuna, a student from Korea, her English was very academic, very bookish. She used the digital immersion blueprint fueled by passion. She was obsessed with the British TV show Doctor Who.
Ah, Whovian.
A dedicated one. She joined fan communities, specifically Discord servers with voice chat. Her sheer passion for discussing theories, characters, plot holes, it completely demolished her fear of making mistakes when speaking. The show was more important than the grammar.
Love that. Passion overriding fear.
Then there's Fatima, a pharmacist from Egypt living in Toronto. Mastered all the complex medical jargon, no problem. But friendly chit-chat with customers really struggled.
That everyday small talk.
Yeah, her solution was clever. She combined the cultural library idea with the monologue method. She watched the Canadian sitcom Kim's Convenience.
Okay, using it as a sort of cultural map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A map for everyday Canadian interactions and humor. Then she used the monologue method during her commute, practicing those kinds of small talk scenarios in her head, building mental agility.
Smart combination. And one more.
Klaus, a 72-year-old retired engineer from Germany. His goal was specific. Read Charles Dickens in the original. His approach was pure dedication to one technique,
We trained.
the English-to-English dictionary. For 6 months, he read Dickens slowly, meticulously, looking up every unfamiliar word only in his learner's dictionary. No translation allowed.
Wow, that takes discipline.
Immense. But he wasn't aiming for speed. He was building a whole mental world, brick by brick, entirely within 19th century English. It shows inhabitation isn't just about speed, it's about depth.
Those stories really bring it home. It's personal, it takes combining strategies, and it needs that spark of passion or a clear goal.
Absolutely. It's about weaving English into the fabric of your actual life.
So wrapping this up, if reaching C1 is like traveling a well-paved road to a major city, what's this final step?
The final step, the inhabitation, is realizing the language isn't just the road anymore. It's the city itself. Or maybe even better, it's a room within that city.
A room you get to enter.
Yes, a room you furnish with your unique personality, your humor, your experiences. You make it your own.
And the big mindset shift required for that.
It's stopping the constant worry about, oh God, how do I say this perfectly in English? And shifting focus entirely to, what is it that I actually want to say? What's the idea, the feeling, the joke I want to express?
Trusting the language to be flexible enough?
Exactly. Trusting that English is strong enough and rich enough to hold the full weight of your humanity, all your complexity, your quirks, your deepest thoughts.
So the final thought for you, the listener. Find one place this week, digital or physical, linked to a real passion you have, where you can participate in English. Take that step into the room. Welcome home.